Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. This is It's Your Healthy Lifestyle show, hosted by the founder of this platform, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and myself, Roland Friedl. How important is your health and fitness to you? We show you how you can easily eat healthier every day, how you can improve your fitness and recover much quicker after your exercises and workouts. Families will learn how to optimize their children's health and nutrition. And finally, you will also hear how you live a long, healthy and fit life into your old age. Join us here on It's Your Healthy Lifestyle.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. We are the proud recipient of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers on our first channel. And I'm very pleased to say that we've just passed 30,000 on our second channel. So thank you for following us. Thank you for liking us. Thank you for subscribing. Our show today is It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. And joining me is the star of our show. He is a man who is passionate about many things, specifically health, men's work, the environment, and really living his life the way he wants to, which is a wireless life and living outside the box. He's a entrepreneur. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's an author. He's a mentor. He's a coach. He's worked with some of the biggest companies in the world. Let's welcome my dear friend, Mr. Roland Friedl. Hello, hello.
Hello, Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you for the introduction. Very kind. You look amazing.
Thank you very much. I found the secret is no eyelash extensions and no eye makeup. So there you go.
Cool. And hello to our audience. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us. Hello.
Yes, hello, hello. So you're looking quite fit and quite well. What's going on with you recently?
Well, I'm feeling good. I'm I'm enjoying life, I'm enjoying life at the fullest. I mean, it doesn't mean, that it is 24/7 just happiness, of course. Of course not. But I'm very grateful for my life. I'm very grateful for my health. I'm very grateful for the lifestyle I choose and for my friends, my family. Yeah. And I'm very grateful to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I feel the same way. I'm grateful that you're here also. We always have a great conversation. And for people just joining us, because as I mentioned, we have more and more people subscribing and following. You've been with me here for what, 4 years?
Yeah, from the beginning.
From the very beginning. We've had a lot of changes, a lot of evolution, but one thing that hasn't changed is your passion for health and for fitness. And for those who don't know, you left your home in Mallorca and you have been living a wireless life. Tell us a little bit about how you're living, where you're living. And there's a lot of fear people have around just leaving something that's stable and in the same place and going out into the wild, wild west is what people think. So tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm Austrian, and I was always a world traveler. I always loved to travel the world, and the reason for that is because to be honest, I didn't have a safe childhood. So I had really a traumatized childhood. I didn't feel safe at home, And when you're traumatized in a very young age, I mean, you cannot move out. You're not surviving when you're 4, 5, 6 years old. So I found my inner home within myself. And because friends always tell me you lived on different places in the world, you work for international companies, you're traveling all the time now, you living in a motorhome. Yeah, I moved in more than 3 years ago. So don't you feel homeless, or because I'm born in Austria? And I said, no, because home is inside me, first of all. It's inside me. And it's there where my friends are. So yeah, I love to travel. And since my early years, I remember I was 6 years old or 7 years when I first saw the sea, because Austria, we lost access to sea after World War I. But yeah, and since this time I always had this urge to live close to the sea, spend time at the sea. I always could feel the energy. So I live this Wireless Life Rocks, and this means, what does Wireless Life Rock mean? It means that I work and I live on the most beautiful places in the world since many, many years. As I said before, I've been living in different places. When we met Dr. Jacqueline at the time, it was Mallorca, a beautiful island in the Mediterranean Sea. I spent there 14 years, exactly 14 years. And after that, it was time to move on. And I wanted to go. I was thinking about moving to Portugal. And they already had my motorhome just for vacations. I only use it 3-4 months a year. So I said, okay, let's move into motorhome. I give everything up. I leave the island, give the house away. I give everything away. I move into my motorhome for 1 year. This was the original plan, to be honest, and find a small property in Portugal and maybe move to Portugal. This was the plan. So I went to Portugal in winter 3 years ago. And, a beautiful space, absolutely lovely people, amazing food, really beautiful. But for me, I cannot. It's difficult to explain. I left a very huge house, a very luxury house. I left a relationship. So for the first time in my life, 3 years ago, so 57 years old, the first time in my life, single. I always have been in relationships since I'm 15 years old, so always long-term relationship. So the first time single, the first time without a home, without a house or apartment, something like that. So I was absolutely scared. And from day to day, I really enjoyed this amazing freedom. And since then, I love to travel. Well, I will settle down with my new girlfriend for sure. But I love to travel. I always love to travel. And now I love to travel in my motorhome and meet new people, learn the languages, cooking from different places. Yeah, I just love it. And the only thing you need a little bit is just a little bit courage. And to be honest, I always was watching videos on YouTube for people living this kind of lifestyle in a motorhome, for example. And what I realized is, okay, I want to do it, not just watch other people doing their lifestyle. I want to do it by myself. And yeah, that's why I encourage people also with my coaching. I say, hey, come on, it's your life. You only regret things you never tried out. And if you fail, well, if it's not for you, you come back and continue whatever you want to do or do something different. So yeah, I love to try out new things. I love to travel, and that's my life. That's my life.
I'm really happy for you. I have to say, in case I never told you this before, I was really looking forward to seeing you in Mallorca. I was looking forward to one of the yoga retreats there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful house. We had this retreats there. It was an amazing place. But after 14 years, it was time for a change. Yeah,
that's a lot.
And to be honest, I'm not attached to things. I really enjoyed it. It was an amazing, huge house, and I really enjoyed it, absolutely. But when I give something up, I never look back. I always look in front of me, or to be honest, I live very in the present moment. That's what I had to learn, to be honest. In the past, we always look back what happened in the past, the mistakes you made, the wrong decisions you made, and you look always in the future, a little bit scared what's going to happen next year or next month or stuff like that. So I learned to live very in the present moment, and it was a game changer for me, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, along the same lines of that is our topic for today, which is boosting high frequencies for your health. And I want to share that one of our team members, Caroline Heward, she's the Harley Street stress expert. She just did a Talking Heads episode on mood and how it can be related to food and to the choices that we make. So I know for myself, yesterday, I was in a little bit of a low energy, low frequency, because there was so much effort that went into getting the new book published. And then I always have expectations for myself that if it doesn't get to be a top release or a bestseller or number one, and by the time I decided to go to sleep, it wasn't. And I started checking every hour around 3:33. I saw that it was a top new release. And then this morning, a little bit later, it's number one new release. So now my energy, my frequencies are really high, but during that course, I said to myself, your frequencies are low because you have emotion that's connected to it. So what can you do? What are the solutions that are possible? So I just started posting more on social media. And although that's a ton of work, because I think that I have 5 pages on Facebook and 2 on Instagram and 2 on LinkedIn. And it's, the size of the graphics are different and the hashtags. So anyway, I found the solution and now my frequencies are higher. So that's what I just wanted to share, that if we can keep the emotions at bay, that can be helpful. What do you think?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely with you, Dr. Jacqueline. Absolutely. We can boost our frequency in a positive frequency through our emotions, through our behaving, through the people we surround, through our food choices, drink choices. So there are many different aspects that can help you boost your energy, your frequencies, or have a negative impact and you lower your energy and your frequencies. Absolutely. Emotions are very important. And what you also mentioned is that food is also connected to emotions. So when I, for example, from my own experience, that I eat very healthy, or most of the time very healthy, but sometimes I have bad food choices, and then my emotions are going, and it has an impact on my emotions. I feel, I don't know, a little bit lazy and a little bit weird. And I wouldn't say a kind of depression, but fatigue, I'm not very driven, lazy, hanging around, stuff like that. So it's connected, absolutely. Then my frequency is going down. And then I wonder why I get negative feedback from my clients, meaning, no, we cancel or we postpone the next coaching or training. And it's all connected. And since I learned this, I'm very into frequencies. I boost myself in a high frequency. Doesn't mean, as I said in the beginning, not everything is 24/7 golden, nice and lovely. It's absolutely not. Shit happens to me too. Challenges. I also face challenges. I also be distracted. No, there's no doubt. But I found for myself a way to get out very soon, very fast, and I push myself in a higher frequency, and then I attract higher frequency people, higher frequency businesses, or whatever. Yeah.
You know what I think is really important to just note about what you shared is many times when we're feeling pressured or we're feeling under some kind of stress, whether it's self-imposed or real, we want to turn to something else. And it could be food, it could be an addiction, it could be something that we have in our life that's been a crutch that's always been there. And of course, for a short time, it might feel good. And then after that, we start to feel terrible. So what I've tried to do, and I'm not always successful at it, because I think one of my go-tos is working out. Because I don't want to say I'm obsessed with it, but it is a priority. And while some people could get an hour, to me, 3 hours is better. So what I've been trying to do is I've been looking at, am I really hungry or am I just dehydrated? And of course, I haven't had caffeine in now it might be 8 years. I don't even know. And I don't eat sugar. So I've just stopped with alcohol again. And so it's kind of like there's nothing else except looking at food as just a way of having some fuel for this container. And when you look at it that way, it takes a lot of the emotion away from it, because I know people who their entire life is based around what they're eating. What are we having for dinner? What are we having for breakfast? And so there's something to be said. I'm not judging that. But for me, what I found is taking that out of my situation and making it more about food for fuel. That seems to be working for me. Any thoughts you have on it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I was just smiling. It happened to me too, when I'm, especially when I feel not hungry, but I feel snacking, I want to snack something. What I learned is pause and I'll figure out what is it? Is it hunger? Is it really hunger? Yes or no? Do I feel bored? Do I feel unhappy, frustrated? Or why the hell do I want a chocolate now or whatever, stuff like that. Mostly it's sugar craving or carbs craving. So sometimes I also trap in, I have a chocolate or something like that. I feel good for a few minutes. But yeah, that's what I do is I eat 2 times a day. I'm not a breakfast guy, so I have a late lunch and an early dinner because I do 6 to 8 hour intermittent fasting. So I only have 2 times of food. But sometimes I sit around, or maybe like today, I'm here. It's raining outside. I'm sitting more inside. I'm walking less my dog. I'm less outside, so I'm more inside. I wouldn't say I feel bored, but I'm a little bit frustrated because it's raining. And I'm thinking about snacking, a chocolate or whatever, or a cookie. Luckily, I didn't buy anything, so I cannot eat them anyway. But I think today could be a day where I would snack a little bit. But as I mentioned before, what I do, I reflect myself and said, okay, what is it? Is it hungry? Is it frustration? Is it do I feel bored? Whatever, and it helps me. Or what you also said, it's very, very important. What you mentioned, Dr. Jekyll, is I'm just dehydrated, so I just drink water. It helped me drinking water, and then mostly the hunger feeling is gone. So I drink a lot of water. Yeah, it is, and most people, they're looking for a quick fix, then to snack something, chocolate or cooking. Mostly it's sweet stuff or carbs. They love a pizza or what is also high carb, a pasta or something like that, and it feels good a little bit. I always said, I'm European. I love Italy. And Italy is famous for pizza, especially for pasta. And a good homemade pasta is like a warm hug from your mom or from your grandma. When you desire to be hugged, to get love, to get attention, and you don't get it because maybe you're single or your partner's not here or you're frustrated, then you have a craving for a hot pasta or something like that. Yeah, it is. But the point is, it's okay when you do it once in a while. Again, it gets dangerous when you get used to it or when it becomes an addiction. I guess it's all about what's too much. Everything that is too much is toxic and becomes an addiction. And then, especially with food, it's very difficult for people to get rid of it because it's available. It's legal. It's legal. It's a legal drug, and you get it everywhere. And you mentioned something, Dr. Jekyll, that said, okay, it's most people thinking about food and what we're eating tomorrow breakfast. I'm the same, but I have discussions with my girlfriend or my kids when they're with me about what we're eating tomorrow, because, as you know, I only cook fresh, so I have to take care to find a farmer shop or whatever to get fresh ingredients. That's I'm planning, of course, my cooking and my next day too, because I'm not buying something crap just around the corner in the supermarket. So I organize it. So yeah, but I think a lot of people, as you mentioned, it's around food. If it's not alcohol or looking bored or any other drug, it's about food. And when you circulate your mindset about food, then it's that this is a red flag. Then you mean it's an addiction, and then you have to look. And because most people who are addicted to something, they try to cure the addiction. The problem is, why are you addicted to, for example, to food, and you love snacking or fooding all the time? But it's a different topic.
Absolutely. Many times people will switch from one addiction to another because they haven't gotten to the root cause of what the issue is. We're about to take a commercial break, and we're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and then we'll come back. Today's sponsor is Steve Klein Art, and Steve is in the Netherlands. And I like to just say that I've purchased some of his art. Actually, have 3 pieces, and they're absolutely beautiful. So please do reach out to Steve Klein through the method shared on here. Let's take a look. Steve Klein Art. We'll be right back. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multidimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multidimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world, as only 3% recover from what I experienced, and now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio. We are back with you today, celebrating the launch of our new book, and you can pick it up on Amazon. We'll talk about it another time. Today's show is It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. We're talking about boosting your frequencies, your energy levels to have a better quality of life. Joining me is the star of our show, Mr. Roland Friedel. Let's welcome him back. Hello,
Thank you.
hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Well, thank you for the story you shared before the break. I was going to add that I grew up in a home where my mother loved her sugar, and it was evident when I became her full-time caregiver that the amount of sugar that she was taking in was something I couldn't even imagine. 5 Coca-Colas a day, maybe half a bag of licorice, Good and Plenty's, Mike and Ike's. And I was doing the grocery shopping for her because it was just the two of us. And I would be in line, or as you say in New York, online, with a conveyor belt filled with sugar items. And I remember each time I would go maybe once every 2 weeks, the cashier would be like, wow, not saying, I'm like, it's not for me. It's not for me. But we had decided that as a family, let her have what she wanted. But I often thought that the dementia could have been in part related to all that sugar. And so I wasn't eating sugar. I hadn't eaten sugar in 3 years. And then it was her birthday. So we had a cake, and I thought, you know what, I might as well have some cake. And then from there, it was a slippery slope, because what I found was I was always thinking about the sugar. Then I was thinking about cookies and icing in a can. And I was going through the grocery store buying all these things with all these ingredients in it. And I thought, you know what, I should make it myself. So then I started baking chocolate chip cookies, and there's no one here but me. So I freeze them, and then I realized they're just as good frozen. So it just got off the rails. And I said to myself, you can't have any sugar at all, and I don't even miss it.
Absolutely. But I was posting a picture today when I made a break, because I'm running 2 shows together. We were on 2 shows together. I do a lot of podcasting today, and I had a break, and my auntie was baking. I'm here supporting my auntie for 2 weeks, and she loves to have after lunch. She has a lunch very early, 11 a.m. Can you imagine? So she has very early lunch. So it's okay for me, because I'm not a breakfast guy, as I said before. And then she has breakfast in the morning. Yeah, I don't know, 7 something. And then 11 sharp, she's having lunch. And 1:30 sharp, she has a coffee and a cake. And then 4:30 again, dinner. So she's always buying cookies. And she said, "You never eat a cookie?" I said, I don't like it. It's too sweet for me. So she's always baking. Once a week she's baking. And I asked her, can you do the same receipt you did, but less than half of the sugar? I said, are you sure? I said, yes. So I enjoyed a piece of cake today, and it's really lovely because it's not so sweet. I don't like it sweet. But I know sugar is really a drug. And my mom, she's also suffering from dementia, and it's so bad. She doesn't recognize me when I visit her. She has no idea who I am. And she was always sugar addicted. But I also decided I leave it to her, because I'm not living with her, because I've been living on the island it was impossible. I was too far away. But I know it from many, many other people who changed their diet dramatically, meaning absolutely no sugar, very low in carbs, no alcohol, and any other taking supplements and so on, that they could reverse the dementia. It's absolutely possible. Absolutely, it's possible. But it was not possible for my mom because I was living more than 1,200 miles away, so it was not possible taking care of her. And to be honest, in this where she's living in this residency, sorry for that to give a shit on that. She gets normal food and she loves the sweet. And when I see her, when I pick her up, she loves to go to a coffee shop, have a coffee, a cake, and ice cream. So, it doesn't make sense to reverse it. But sugar is a drug. And sugar, what most people don't understand, that's why I don't buy a processed food, because it's everywhere in, and we know that sugar is producing inflammation, and it's a cause for many, many diseases. Absolutely. So, and the other thing is what you mentioned is, because when I speak to people, when you look, Roland, you're in a good shape. You're becoming 61 this year. You look great, because they know that I'm eating a lot of meat, red meat, a lot of fat. And you're not getting weight. I said no, because I try to avoid carbs as good as possible. I had a piece of cake today, of course, but I try to avoid carbs as possible. And I said, yeah, same to me. I don't eat much. And then what most people do is, really, people who are obese, is maybe they don't eat much, but they're drinking a hell of soft drinks. And I said, hey, man, that's what you're drinking on soft drink when you have 3, 4, 5 Coca-Cola, or whatever brand it is. I cannot eat that much on a day on calories. You're just drinking. So most people don't realize how much calorie intake they have by taking soft drinks. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's very true. By the way, we do have a comment from someone on LinkedIn. Rachel Laymans. Thank you so much. Rachel has written, I can so relate. Hi, Rachel. Nice to have you with us. I think something that's also interesting is I just saw an article on LinkedIn, a video actually, about how the most successful people, and of course, there's no scientific evidence, there's no research that it's tied to, but just a statement. The most successful people do not drink alcohol. And that could very well be so. I also saw another video that the most successful people are smoking pot. So it's interesting because I'm not sure if people have gone from alcohol to some other substance, but I do know I've had several new doctors because I've moved. And on the form, when they ask you, do you do this? Do you do that? They don't typically ask, are you shooting heroin? Are you snorting cocaine? Are you smoking pot? They don't typically ask that, but they always ask about the alcohol. And I wonder if that's because it's legal in most places. I'm not sure. Do you think so?
I think so. But I avoid alcohol as much as I can. So sometimes, actually last week, a friend of mine, we went for dinner and had a non-alcoholic beer, because I cannot drink water all the day. So I had a non-alcoholic beer because I like the taste. I avoid alcohol because I know that when we talk about frequencies, that alcohol has a very low frequency, and beer has a lower frequency than wine. So sometimes I have a non-alcoholic beer, or sometimes I spent the winter 4 months, a little bit more than 4 months in Sicily, in Italy, and occasionally I enjoyed a glass of red wine, but just occasionally. But yeah, alcohol has a very low frequency, absolutely, and that's why I don't know, people feel dumb. I feel like being unplugged. Somebody unplugged me. I run out of energy when I drink alcohol. I can feel it. And the other thing is, I can see a lot of things and feel a lot of things that normal people don't see, because it's not because they're not capable about it. They forgot it. And when I drink alcohol, I don't feel connected to my higher self. So I avoid alcohol. I don't. No, I don't
Well,
need it
Chardonnay
anymore.
is the only thing that I drink. And as I mentioned, I've been cutting back. I actually didn't have any for the last however long. But I've never been someone who is interested in recreational drugs. I've never tried them. I don't know anything about them. But I would imagine that anything that you're doing is going to impact your frequency. So if you're eating too much, if you're smoking too much, whatever the case may be, it's going to impact your frequencies. So I think that the statement, everything in moderation, might not absolutely be true. We have another comment from Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Here in OK, I think that's Oklahoma, it's legal. And they ask every time I have a medical appointment. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. I didn't know that. See, we're learning something new. That's fantastic. So what are some things that our audience can do to boost their frequencies? And what I'm sharing, and I've said already, is when I feel something coming on, some emotion coming on, like, what happened with my car on the side of the road, people going 80 miles an hour, the car just shut itself down. And it turns out the dealership made a mistake and didn't seal something. It was really a terrifying thing. And I knew that if I were to start calling people, that all I'm doing is getting myself upset, getting them upset, and there's nothing that they can do. I knew my frequencies were completely off the chart. So I said to myself in that moment, that was an hour long waiting for a tow truck, how can I keep myself calm? How can I keep my vibrations at a certain level so that I can be wary enough to make sure, looking around, making sure no one's coming, because a woman in the middle of the road by herself. And I was able to do that, but it's only from practice. So I take what Philip Sykes would say is the 6-second pause. I pause. I calm myself down. If it is a situation where I feel highly emotional, I'll let myself get emotional. I'll literally time it. You have 10 minutes for the pity party, and then that's it, and we're moving on. So Rachel's another comment. Rachel writes, I had to stop smoking because it was so damaging to my PTSD. Well, thank you for your transparency and honesty and sharing that. Maybe that will help someone else. So Roland, over to you with what are your thoughts about what I've shared, what Rachel's sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I don't smoke. I used to smoke. I used to smoke marijuana a little bit occasionally, but not to feel high. Just I know that sometimes it was good for me. Well, when we talk about frequencies, from my own experience, what I do to stay in a high frequencies, first of all, we have to understand something. When we talk about frequencies, everything is energy. And when people ask me, what do you mean by this? I say, everything is energy, and it's going on in waves. And we both, you're sitting in the US, I'm sitting in Europe, and we can see each other, we can communicate. It's all about through frequencies, through energies. And I always explain people the same with money. When you lose money, the money is not gone, it's still there. Someone else has it. And the same is with energy. When you feel fatigue, you lack of energy, when you don't have energy, meaning you're in a low frequency, the energy is not gone, it's still there. Someone else has it. You gave your energy away to somebody else or something else. That's what we have to understand, first of all. So you can bring your energy back, and your frequency, to go in a high frequency. So what can you do? A few practical things I practice every day. First of all, I'm very grateful. I guess I remember we had once a show on the Mallorca Connection. The shortest prayer is just saying thank you. I'm very thankful and grateful. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is being grateful. Grateful for what I'm having. And as I said before, some days are really shit. It's not always 24/7. Even in my crazy, funny, amazing life, it's not always 24/7 wonderful. Yeah. And so, but what I do in the morning, what I'm grateful. So what I don't do is I don't look at things I don't have at the moment. I look at things that I have. Like I'm still alive. I'm healthy. I'm here in this beautiful place with an amazing view. I have wonderful friends. So I'm always thinking about my abundance, what I'm grateful to. This brings me in a high frequency, because when I'm thinking about what the things I'm missing, that brings me in a low frequency. Okay, so first of all, I'm very grateful for what I'm doing. Secondly, I spend a lot of time in nature and in sun. So sun brings in a high frequency and a good energy. I drink clean water. Mostly, especially here in Europe, we have a lot of clean water, really from the source. When there's a small river, you can drink the water. In some areas, like in Scandinavia, also in Austria, in the mountains, you can drink the water from a river. Yeah, so pure water, sun. When I talk about sun, I don't use sun creams or stuff like that because it's toxic. I even don't use sunglasses. I only use them when I'm driving, so for safety reason, that the sun is not in front of me, I cannot see the other participants in the traffic. So I don't use sunglasses. So I want my eyes to get the sun. I know that's very, very important for my eyes. So I'm very connected to the sun. I'm very connected to fresh air, to fresh water. That's what I'm doing on a daily basis. I surround myself with positive people. Not always possible, but I try to keep the time with negative people as short as possible. And I also try most of the time eating very healthy and clean. So I mentioned it many times. I'm a carnivore. I'm eating meat because it gives me a lot of energy. I feel really good with it. And some frequencies, how do you call it? Pyramids say that meat has a low energy or low frequency. That's not really true. Depending, when you eat meat from animals that is mass production coming to a slaughterhouse, meaning this animal has a lot of stress, fearing death, then the frequency of this meat is really very low. But as you know, Dr. Jekyll, I only eat the meat from my friend's farm, so they're grass-fed. They're all the year outside. They have a happy life. They shoot them on the farm, so they're separated from the other cows. They shoot it there. It falls down. There's no stress, no transportation, stuff like that. So this meat has a much higher frequency. I eat a lot of berries, wild berries, stuff like that. So when we talk about food, is eating as clean as possible, non-processed food. So that's why vegan people, sorry vegans, but I know a lot of vegan people that eating, I don't talk about vegans who really eat fresh fruits and vegetables, but most of them eat artificial stuff from vegan supermarkets. This has a very low frequency. So when we measure this has a very low frequency. Everything that is processed has a very low frequency. We mentioned before, alcohol has a very low frequency. And for me, it was a shock that beer has a lower frequency than wine, because wine has more alcohol, but beer has lower frequency because it's not only the alcohol in beer, it's also the carbs. So carbs have a lower frequency. That's the truth, guys. So you can do a lot of stuff. So when I summarize it, be out in nature, in sun, drink pure water, be in fresh air. So meaning when you doing sports, the best thing is outside. Sometimes, okay, we go to a gym when you live in a city, but exercising outside is the best thing. Surround with positive people and try to eat as clean as possible. I don't care if you're vegetarian or a carnivore like myself, as long as you eat fresh and clean and you know exactly where the food is coming from. And then you can really push your frequency. And besides that, when you're grateful every day and focus on what you have, and you don't focus on things that you don't have, it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to achieve goals and work for something, and go in a kind of direction. But just be grateful what you have, and then you're in a high frequency.
Thank you, Roland. So many great points that you brought up as we come towards the end of our segment today. I'd also like to just touch on, I know a number of people who have difficulty sleeping, and they're taking all different kinds of products. And what I said to these people individually is, what is the root cause of what is behind why you can't sleep? There's something going on, and that's what's troubling you. And you're looking for all of these solutions that are artificial, and hopefully you'll get to fall asleep. But then when you wake up, you might feel groggy, you might feel sluggish, you might have low frequencies. So can you talk a little bit about your work as a mentor and a coach in getting to the crux of the problem, or the root of the cause, instead of masking it with Band-Aids that could come in many forms?
Yeah. First of all, about sleep. Sleep is very important, and my experience is when you're in a high frequency, you sleep very, very well, and you wake up in the morning and I'm full of energy. That's one thing. And what I learned many years ago in an ashram in the Caribbean is, I don't remember this famous doctor about sleeping and insomnia, and he said you cannot fall asleep. You only can give up being awake, meaning when you have a lot of things are going on in your mind, I don't know, regretting something in the past or fearing something in the future, it's difficult to fall asleep, or giving up, falling asleep, meaning giving up being awake. So being in a high frequency is absolutely supportive to sleep. So just to answer your question, how I work with my clients, I always look very deep, and because sometimes most of the time clients come to me and they have a certain issue. Maybe it's a business issue or a relationship issue, whatever. They come to me, and I always dig deeper and say, okay, why are you coming to me? Why you want to be more happy? Why you're not happy? So I really dig very, very deep into them, just to find the root cause, what it is, and then we just delete it. I'm not a fan of many hours of sessions, because it's not about me. It's not about me making money from the client's problems out of it. I think that we can really change very, very quickly when we understand the concept of high frequencies and how we can well, I use the word heal myself, but to be honest, Jacqueline, I don't like the word healing very much, but because healing means something is wrong. You have to heal because something is wrong with you. And I believe that nothing is wrong with anyone. We are just perfect like we are, but maybe we forgot what we should do instead of what we shouldn't do. I don't believe that we have to heal. I believe that we have to fix something. I strongly believe that we just have to remember who we are as a divine being. And that's my job as a mentor when I mentor people, no matter if it's a private staff or in business. I just try to support people that they remember who they really are, and then everything becomes very clear, and then they're more satisfied and more happy in their relationships. Then they're more successful in the business because they're not chasing money anymore. They do what they really love to do, and they have a purpose. A purpose in life. So I would say I help them, I mentor them to just remember who they really are. I don't believe in healing because healing means something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. I think there's a huge industry of psychologists, of therapists who are making a hell of money in telling people that there's something is wrong. I don't believe in this. And something else, I have a very good friend of mine. He's a retired dentist, and every second word that he's using is a problem. Yeah, you know me, I hardly use this word problem. And he called me last week, and so we have a call once a week. And I said, "Yeah, I have a heart problem." And so he went to a medical doctor, to a colleague, and diagnosed that. So he has a heart problem. And I said to him, "If you believe so, you have it. It's up to you if you believe it or not." And I strongly believe that we can change so much thing. It's in our power that we live the life at the fullest that we want. That's why I don't go doctors, but I don't need them. I don't believe in this. Again, I don't believe in healing because for me, healing means that something is wrong, and nothing is wrong. It's just we have to remember who we are, and maybe we find back our path and eat healthy, meaning eating clean, fresh water, working out, sleeping well, surrounded with positive people, and find a purpose in life, getting out of the treadmill, and then there's nothing to heal.
A beautiful way to sum up the show and give some great advice to our audience, or just some tips, actually. And I think being passionate about what you do, I know what I do at this television network, as well as what I do in teaching people how to listen and writing books, brings me absolute joy. And I do not think of it as a job. I think of it as a gift. So our next show is coming up right after this, which, interestingly enough, you will be interviewing me. So looking forward to that on the Mayorga Connection.
Me too, because I tell you, it's time to bring you in the spotlight, because you do just an amazing job. You're building up, this platform that gives me and many, many other amazing colleagues to share our experience and knowledge. And it's time to bring you on. It's an honor for me to interview you about all the amazing work you're doing, the broadcasting, writing books, the coaching, the sports stuff. So I'm very, very pleased and happy and looking forward in 15 minutes. So guys, stay tuned. 15 minutes, we continue with the Mayorga Connection, and then we dive deep into Dr. Jacqueline's successful life, what she's doing, what drives her. I'm very looking forward to it.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I don't do too many interviews, but I really appreciate it. We've got a couple of comments. Rachel, again, in the house. This is such an interesting way of looking at health. Thank you, Rachel. We appreciate your feedback. And we also have over on LinkedIn, Kay Reeve. Hi, Kay. Thanks for being here. So many valid points. Vibration is still underrated by so many and in so many ways. Well stated.
Absolutely.
All right, Roland, for people who want to get in touch with you, who's a good client for you? I know you're open to really anyone reaching out. Who would you like to contact you, and how do they do it?
Committed people who really want to change something. The people who are not looking for a miracle pill or a quick fix, or really want to change something in their life, living a more fulfilled life, whatever it is. So it's not about me. It's all about the people, the person in front of me. As I said before, my job is only to help them remember who they really are. That's what I'm doing in business or in private or whatever. The best way is to email me is the best way because I'm traveling all the time. So email is the best way. The email address is office@mynamerolandfriedl.com. For those who are just listening, not looking at it, I spell my name. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. Office@rolandfriedl.com. I have a lot of experience in many fields. I've been working for over 30 years for the largest tech companies in the world, worldwide, on every continent or so. I do a lot of coaching for the private people, with CEOs, for people who are just building up a startup, a new business. I love to support coaches to bring their knowledge on the market. I'm very into environment, as you mentioned, into health, and I do a lot of men's work. At the moment, I'm one of the speakers of the largest men's online congress that started on the 1st of May. It's going on the 11th of May. I'm speaking on men's congresses. I'm a speaker on many events. Tomorrow I have a call because somebody called me from the UK. There is a women entrepreneur event, if I can come as a speaker. So I love to support people to make the best out of their life, because life is beautiful and it's up to us what we're doing from it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor. And one final comment from Kay. Great to hear such positivity. Thank you, Kay. We really appreciate you as well. You and Rachel, take good care of yourselves and join us again, please. We are live streaming 7 days a week. We're working towards 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But right now we have 60 shows pretty much every week, every other week. So there's always some new content that we have. So we'll be right back with our next show. Stay tuned. It's at the top of the hour. Right now, we're going to watch a trailer about our new book that we're really excited. If you didn't hear, it was published yesterday. I think it's my 16th book, and it is now a #1 new release on Amazon. Let's take a look. Cool. We'll be back for our next show. Bye.
Hi,
in a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by executive producer and director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.